wonder what I can make an episode of next.
Sorry, Tony. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice. But he's my friend. So was I.
Oh, shit! Hello Internet, and welcome to Comics Crossing. My name is Brando Castro, and on today's episode, we'll be analyzing our first trailer of Captain America: Civil War. Civil War comes as the first Marvel blockbuster of 2016, and by far one of the most anticipated films in the Marvel Phase 3 lineup. This first trailer has a lot of content packed into it, so let's get started. The trailer opens continuing the end credits scene from Ant-Man, revealing that Cap and Falcon have finally located the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky Barnes. After a quick little Q&A with Steve, it seems that Bucky has finally thrown off his Hydra brainwashing. But it's going to take a little more than newspaper in Cap's shoes to convince the authorities, who seem to be on the hunt for a framed Bucky.
People who think you did are coming right now. They're not planning on taking you alive.
And here we see the return of General Ross, best known for being the antagonizing army head that chases around the Hulk and sometimes transforms into the Red Hulk. However, I highly doubt that will be a role in this film. Here he's seen as an ambassador, delegating to Cap that he can no longer freely superhero as he has up to this point. The very notion of regulating superhero activities is drawn directly from the inspiring comic and is a nice little piece of recognition. For those who have read Civil War, it is painfully obvious that this concept can't be executed in the same way in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Natasha is seen here warning Cap not to get involved with Bucky's situation. Until now, the Black Widow has always had Cap's back when the chips are down, but perhaps this time the stakes are just too high. If that is indeed the case, Ross's next 4 words allude to this perfectly.
There will be consequences.
There will be consequences. It's all coming to a head here. All of the ideological differences between Steve and Tony that were slightly alluded to in Age of Ultron are finally being pushed to the forefront in this film. There's a quick piece of dialogue here from Falcon, reminding Cap that those who shoot at Cap end up shooting at him as well. I definitely don't think that this statement is Falcon worrying about his well-being or anything of the sort. Rather, it's him telling Cap that heroes are falling on sides now, and the choices that he makes from now on aren't simply risking his own safety and his own standing. Widow seems to be giving Cap the final warning here, as I imagine at this point in the story, the lines in the sand have been drawn and it's just down to who flinches first. And not much is left a mystery, as when Falcon asks, "What do we do?" Cap quickly answers, "We fight." And fight they do, as most of the remaining trailer is a few short glimpses at the battles to come. They also find time to sneak in our first look at live-action Black Panther. Within the context of the trailer and with the info released so far, it's still fairly shady as to why he gets involved with the conflict, but I'll have to assume that in some capacity that Wakanda is being threatened by the warring heroes, and this forces him to the front lines. Also, Bucky looks like he's about to straight up rip out Tony's arc reactor. That is pretty savage. These last few seconds of the trailer really lay out the heartache of this film. In this still, we see Rhodey down and possibly dead, which would piss off Tony just a little bit. But it's in the final words spoken that really lay down the permanency of the damage to come.
But he's my friend. So was I.
For For those who only know these versions of the characters, the Marvel Cinematic Universe versions, this is going to be an emotional trip, because if there's one thing I am absolutely sure about, it's that in the aftermath of this story, heroes will either be dead or not returning. More than any other film in the Marvel Phase 3 lineup, this one will lay down the foundations for who the Avengers are when it comes time for Infinity War, and should be a fitting conclusion to the Captain America trilogy. By the way guys, did you see them hammering Iron Man? We're ultimately left with more questions than answers. Where is Nick Fury? What event is inciting all of this? What is Panther's true involvement? Where the hell is Ant-Man, Vision, and Spider-Man? I'll attempt to answer all these questions in a future video, but until then, that's all for this episode. But if you had a good time, be sure to subscribe to get notified when the next Comics Crossing comes out, and to keep up with the Paper Cuts podcast, where me and my friends talk any and all things comics. And hit us up at Twitter over at PCutsPodcast, and let us know if you're hashtag Team Cap or hashtag Team Iron. But as always, have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you next time.